Hey, Rick Wolf here with Soul Survivor Outdoor, and I've got Jason Peters with me, who's a retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel and chaplain, and we just wrapped up a week here in Mammoth, California with 9 guys, some Marines, Navy, Army, and active duty mostly, a couple of chaplains. Incredible week. Heard something on the radio the other day about 2020, and obviously each one of us has been a little bit challenged this year. It's been very interesting, and so the question posed was, what 3 words would you use to describe 2020? And I'm sure some of you have some opinions about that, but it occurred to me, one incredible opportunity. And that's what it's been. And those of you who have been following us this last couple of years, you know that we've had the opportunity to impact literally thousands of service members, active duty service members, which is pretty unique. And we do this through extreme sport and outdoor adventure, and we present the gospel at every one of these events, and the response has just been unbelievable. Folks that would not find themselves in church. And so one of the things I wanted to do is talk to Jason and say, you know, what did you think about this week? What did you witness that happened out here?
It's amazing. I mean, I can't even begin to put into words what happened. I mean, we just right behind us, we just did baptisms in that water. A guy who has been watching his co-worker, who is a former Marine, living out his faith every day, and when he watched that, he just couldn't deny the reality of the life change that happened in that guy's life. And so basically he invited him to come up here to a Soul Survivor Outdoor event, and through that whole experience, it was so exciting to see God just open up his heart to the point where he said, before we leave, my wife and daughter are coming, and we want to do a baptism. I want to get baptized with you guys, and I want to demonstrate what has happened in my heart. So anyway, it's phenomenal. Not only that, we had time for guys to tell their stories and just have a safe place to tell the story of what God's doing. It's inspirational and it's life-changing, and men who are on this trip know they're not alone, that they've got the same struggles every other man has, that the military is a tough place to live and serve. I was reminded again, as a retired chaplain, I look back and I'm like, it's tough to serve in the military. It is hard, man. The limbo, the moving, all that stuff. I was reminded again, there's such a deep need for ministry, and Rick, by faith, has stepped up and said, hey, I want to be there, and I want to serve those Marines and those airmen and those soldiers and those coasties, or whatever they want to call them.
Absolutely.
I want to serve any of them, soldiers, to be what God has called them to be in that place.
Yeah, and so, you know, I also want to say thank you to those of you that have supported this, because you're truly partners in this ministry. And a lot of times we don't really look at military ministry from a strategic standpoint. And every one of these men that we had today and throughout the week, they go back to their day jobs. They're going to find themselves deployed all over the world. The 2 firemen who are veterans that were with us this week, they're part of a FEMA team that goes and helps with earthquakes and disasters all around the world. In fact, one of the men was actually invited to go to Beirut, and that's very timely. You're familiar with that. And he said, you know what, just have gotten back from some of these things, and what's happening this week with Soul Survivor Outdoor is actually in many ways, some ways, more important actually than that, because it's having a long-ranging impact. And not to say that what happened in Beirut isn't a problem, it's a massive problem, but thank you for donating to what has been going on, and the fact that every day people are coming to Christ as a result of this, and then they're going around the world. They're also getting out of the military and going into places, new workplaces and so forth, like the fire department, like the police department, and having a real impact. You know, Jason and I got a chance to just share a lot of different things that are going on. Strangely enough, we met through LinkedIn, the power of the internet. And so we've really only known each other for a few months. And his son is a Marine. And one of his son's friends is a Marine. And we met in Colorado Springs a month or so ago. And he did a doctorate. As he pulls out, as I'm saying, hey, strategic ministry, and he says, hold that thought, let me go get my my thesis, dissertation. And I looked at it and I said, wait a minute, military ministry in the context of 18 to 26-year-olds, and I just said military ministry in the context of 18 to 25-year-olds. So God is busy, as always. 2020 and COVID and all that, it's had some major impacts. But you know what? Hasn't impacted God. Hasn't changed what God's doing. God's on the move all the time, and we just got through recording a little video for the ministry that Jason runs, and we said, hey, step out in faith, and don't be afraid. God comes alongside you, and you have come alongside Soul Survivor Outdoors. So just thank you so much. Also want to share briefly. Jason and I talked about Colorado Springs. So we've been looking at how can we impact soldiers and airmen in Colorado Springs. And as we speak, I just got a text from Ryan, one of our board members, who's in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and we've been engaged with about 8 chaplains and different folks at Fort Hood. So if you've been watching the news, another relevant story, murders and all kinds of darkness down there, and the chaplains at Fort Hood and others are saying, come to Fort Hood, come to Texas, let's do some outdoor adventure and bring the gospel to people who aren't getting it at church, because you know what, the chapels a lot of times are kind of empty, and so they're not even coming. So how do you reach this population group? And so again, thank you so much for watching. A bit of a long video, and you know that at Soul Survivor Outdoor we don't spam you, we don't send a lot of this stuff, so I hope you've taken the time to watch this, and thanks. And Jason, thanks for being part of this.
Thanks for letting me watch what God's doing, man. It's incredible. I'm pretty pumped about what's happening right here, and thank you for letting me be a part of it.
Awesome. Thanks, Jason. Thank you.